So we also talked about how PD is going to be more than just PD. If you are using professional development whole group sessions, you can do this with PLCs too. But if you're utilizing PD sessions, you can use them to funnel, to take the idea of like bring everybody into a PD and then funnel somebody through the funnel all the way into a coaching cycle. So when you have that PD, you can funnel a teacher through that. You have a whole group of people, but you want to get just a couple of teachers to go from a larger group into being in a coaching cycle with you. So it's about taking PD and making intentionally a way for you to follow up with teachers and turn those conversations from PD into coaching cycles. So we're going to talk about that tonight. So when you are thinking about PD, if you have whole group PD that everyone is doing, you can work off of that. Like required PD is definitely something you could work with. But what you could also do is design an optional PD. Now, I know this doesn't work for everybody's environment, but if you design an optional PD, you can invite teachers to come. You can invite all the teachers, but you can have the perspective in your mind of realizing I'm not looking for everybody to show up. I'm just looking for the runners to come. And so you can have 30 minutes after school. You can do a lunch and learn. I've seen a couple of my Breakthrough Circle members have done, and we've seen this with like the pumpkin, the PD and a pumpkin, like just deliver something. They call DoorDash PD. I've seen that one. So like deliver something with some QR codes to some videos of you teaching something. It doesn't have to be an in-person thing. The key is getting them to opt into it so that they will be interested in kind of the next step. The trick to the PD approach that we talked about last week is the exit ticket. So using an exit ticket at the end of your PD will help you to get some information from teachers about what they want to do next after they learn something at your PD. So I actually have a story about this because we had a PD this last week. We had this random Wednesday PD/conference day. And I didn't end up presenting the PD. We had somebody from the outside come in and present a little session to our middle school teachers. It was short, but it was really great. And it was about a specific strategy called PALS reading, where basically students pair up and they read aloud to each other, and there's a protocol in it. And so the presenter came in and she showed us how to do it and she modeled it for us, and then we got to do it. And so then we were the ones, and I was across from a middle school teacher, and we were reading to each other and we were going through the protocol, like read to each other for 3 minutes and then stop and reflect and then read to each other, that kind of thing. And I didn't get to host this PD, so I wasn't leading it. So I didn't have an opportunity to do an exit ticket with it. But I was able to, with my intentionality, to realize that like this is prime. Like this strategy that they just learned today during this very short, quick PD is primed and ready for someone to use it like tomorrow. So at the very end of the session, I just stopped and we were kind of starting to close it up. And I was like, hey, just, in case anybody wants to use this strategy, I just want to let you know, I would love to partner with you on that. I would love to help you think about how you could use it in your classroom. We could troubleshoot some ways that your kids may need to partner, because they had some questions about partnering boys and girls in middle school. Is that going to work? I said, if you want to troubleshoot that, I could work with you on it, and I can come and I can be in your room while you're doing it so that you could, you could have somebody else in there with you. So just let me know if you want to do that. And that's not as ideal as like an exit ticket, but I did at least throw it out there. Hey, let me know if you want to work together on this. Well, right there at the end of the PD, one of the teachers was talking about this, and she was the math teacher, but this is like a reading strategy, right? And she was like, well, and she started talking to me about it, and we were chatting, and she's definitely a runner. She's totally one of my runners. And she was like, I think I could use this in math. And I was like, you could definitely use this in math. We could come up with a way that you could use this in math. And we just chatted it out right then and there. And I was like, hey, why don't we go ahead and get a meeting on the calendar and we can meet about this next week during your planning? And she was like, yes, like trying to capture how she wanted to use that right away. And then asking her, hey, let's go ahead and meet about it. I'll help you think through it. And so if I had done the PD myself, I would have done the exit ticket. But at least this week I knew, do not leave the PD without trying to connect with teachers about next steps. They could walk off and leave and never do this in their classroom, ever. But if somebody is there to help them, to bridge that gap for them, to say, oh, I'll come think through it with you. And no, this is not a math strategy, but we could make it a math strategy. Let's do that together. That is when I am always trying to be mindful of that. So when you have the opportunity to take an exit ticket, you're asking them questions that they're writing on a note card or filling out in a Google Doc, Google form. You're asking them questions about what they want to do next and how either how you can help, or what are they thinking about, or what did they like about the session that they want to take to their classroom, something that is their takeaway. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take that strategy, that exit ticket, and we're going to turn it into a conversation where we follow up with them very intentionally to turn it into a meeting.